questions. Boy, do we have a lot of them. But what if those questions could be answered with a simple email? Now is that time, and welcome to Chat with Charlie. Host Charlie Lynn is a certified spiritual life coach and psychic medium. She will work together with Spirit to answer both your submitted and live questions. Not only will Charlie be providing you with insight, but also interviews with amazing guests. Have a question? Submit it now to chatwcharlie@gmail.com. That's chatwcharlie@gmail.com. Here's your host of Chat with Charlie, Charlie Lynn.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm happy to see you here today. I am your host, Charlie Lynn, and you're watching episode 3 on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Today, we are going to kind of do things a little bit differently. Normally, I would start off with a topic and we would jump into answering questions. But today, we are very fortunate to be joined by my mentor, my teacher, a fantastic psychic medium, and also the host of Schooled with Spirit that also airs here on WLTK-DB Talk Radio, DeEtte Ranae. So she's going to be popping in. We are going to be answering your questions on all things metaphysical, spiritual. So make sure that you are popping those comments into the comment section because we will be watching that as well as answering some questions that have been sent in via email and messenger earlier today. So please help me welcome psychic medium DeEtte Ranae. I love it. I love it.
It's the wrong way.
Good morning.
You see his face?
Oh, he talks. I like it. I feel underdressed now. I feel like I need a hat.
Well, look at him talk.
I know, it's pretty awesome.
Button.
Good morning, Dupra. Thank you for tuning in again today. Lovely to see you.
I love you.
So, Miss DeEtte.
What?
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm
doing
in a mood today. Can you tell?
I have been also, and good morning, Ellie. Thank you for tuning in. I was kind of like, I was okay and I was really mellow. And then about 45 minutes ago, a spirit took energy from like down here to like, woo. And I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be a day with DeEtte and I today.
Well, that's because you knew I might not show up because I was running late.
Well, I had a spiel going just in case you were late. I'm not going to say I expected you to be late. I was just prepared in case you were.
I show up like right on time. I'm
That's
the on-time person, just right on time.
And I'm always like 15 minutes early.
Yeah, that's too early.
I know. But it works. We balance each other out. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Brenda. Thank you both for tuning in today. So before we jump into viewers' questions,
okay,
I thought maybe we could talk about, I had a message that I was given yesterday from Spirit, and I thought it might be a good topic for us both to kind of discuss. Good morning, Tim, and kind of give our viewpoints, I guess, on what Spirit's doing with you, being a teacher and teaching the classes. I thought it would be great to have you kind of chime in.
Okay.
The message that they had given me was, when we seek to understand, we often do so from our own perspective. To truly grow, we need to seek to understand openly, set aside our own experiences and expectations to put our own perspectives aside. And I think that's, and I know at least for me, especially when I first started classes with you, I mean, and you've told people just how horrified I was within that first, half of the class.
I actually used to teach other people, just because you had a significant experience, significant way of walking into it.
Right. And I was totally viewing everything from my own perspective. And so until I started opening up, I really wasn't able to absorb the things that you were saying or absorb the things that other people were offering to help me grow.
Right.
Is that something, that you run into a lot, or you find with people you work with, that trying to get them to be open and set aside preconceived notions is something that's difficult to do?
Well, it really depends on every situation is completely different and every person is completely different.
Right.
Everybody is. One, I know everybody that calls me up, signs up, shows up to one of my classes, especially the beginners class, they are already ready to open up on some level. There is, you know what? Let's use you for an example. Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm going to call you out. I'm going to put you on the table for this one. And I
That's
know you're not
fine.
going to like it, but that's me. You know, when you came in, you had a very religious standpoint, very, very strong religious upbringing. This, and you know, like I do use you, and I tell people, I'm like, gosh, she was, you know, she showed up. You know, one of my largest classes. You sat in the back. You work at a. It was almost like you've seen COVID before COVID happened, and shy of the mask
Right.
from everybody. And if we'd have asked you, and I did ask you why you're there, you went, well, my son is presenting, and I really want to understand from my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I let you have that.
Right.
I was thinking bullshit.
What? You saw through that?
Well, it's, you know, but everybody comes, you know what? They'll use this reason. They use this reason.
Right.
Because honestly, most people see their son presenting with some abilities is going to probably look at them and go, oh my God, it's in your head. It's this, it's that, it's the other. You already knew about it because you're already there experiencing it yourself.
Right.
So the only way for you to understand your son is to understand yourself. And in that journey, all we had to do is go, wait a second. You know, religion is something of man-made, you know, and I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble on that, you know what I mean? But we have a lot of different religions. They all say, you know, their own little perspective, and everybody that reads the Bible has their own perspective on the Bible.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm not blasting anybody because you know, I'm religious, you know, in some aspects. But coming over those religious hardships are hard. And you have to remember, even if you're not in, people go, well, I wasn't born and raised in a religious family. But there's somewhere in that lineage where it was there on some aspect, and that is transferring over. So even though it might not be religious based, it might just be my parents said or not believing or whatever. So coming to me, they're already ready to open. Me, it's just getting them to believe in themselves now.
Right. And I would really agree with that, you know, and I look at other things and I laugh. The way that you had put that was because my son, you know, and you know, he's involved in sports. I don't go want to join track to understand his track experiences. I'm like, I ain't a runner. I'm not doing that.
The high jump, I'm telling you.
Right. It's right. And so that is a really, I think, a great way to put that into perspective of people. If it's pulling at your interest, whatever you're presenting as your reason to be there, it's still pulling in because it resonates with yourself. Which kind of brings us into, and I see
lopsided. It's
that's okay. You know, I try not to even like look at myself when we're doing this. I just stare at the comments.
On sideways.
Well, we always knew your head wasn't quite screwed on right.
I'm not screwed on straight.
That's why I love you, though. That's why I picked you.
Screwed on. I'll just get my hair to cover it. Yep, done.
It's fine. It's fine. Just lean. Just lean.
I am. It's not working. It would help if they would just flip this and mirror me exactly, so I knew what I know. Go ahead.
Brenda is on, and she says that she's really glad we're talking about this topic because she's looking forward to her first class.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of brings me into one of our first questions from Shelby R. And she asks, what is something you learned or as a teacher that you see as being an absolute must for beginners?
Oh, open mind.
Yeah.
Just an open mind. Because you know what? Beginners come in, I would love to say believe in yourself, but really that comes a little bit. You know, trust, that comes a little bit. You know, I mean, all these things that, you know, it's just that open mind to say, you know what, you're going to and listen and give me 5 seconds of your time to see if I can explain it to you and have you to understand it then.
Right, right. And good morning, Jackie. And that's, you know, I would really agree with you because I feel like trust is one of the biggest things that we work on throughout our journey. I don't feel like that's something that ever you reach that trust and you're done working on that. You know, so to say to people, well, you have to learn to trust. No, you have to be open because everything comes in such compartmentalized and non-compartmentalized steps.
Right.
That if you're not open to that, you're going to shut down before you start working through each level or each progress.
And it really is, especially like the way I teach, you know, in beginners, I teach with working with your physical senses. And it's like, you need to be open to the way I'm teaching, because trust me, by the time beginners is done, you're going to be going, you know what I mean? Because so much is going to be on fire. But again, it's being open to the way I'm teaching, open up into the way of open to understanding, you know, everything.
Yeah. And to tell our viewers a little bit about you teaching, what classes do you offer? How do they find you if they're interested in taking classes?
Okay. Well, my website is literally the best place to find that, www.DeEtteRanae.com, because you can look at there's like little video snippets. You can sign up for a class prior to me actually hosting the class, because I will put you in the next class, you know?
Okay.
But I also advertise a lot on Facebook via either my personal site or my public profile, which is DeEtteRanae.com or DeEtte Ranae Psychic Medium, which I really do a lot of that. I do, what was the other part? Oh, the classes I teach. I'm like, that brain fog. So I teach psychic mediumship development, but I do it on many different levels. So I do have my beginners, my intermediate, advanced 1, advanced 2 with a certification class. I'm also looking together right now, currently putting 2 or 3 more classes together. You know, 1, because everybody keeps screaming at me, you need to keep teaching, and 2, because Spirit said, hey, it's time. So
we all love you. I think, and I think, you know, Spirit too. And one thing I've always appreciated and valued in you as a teacher is you see us as a group, but yet you see our individual needs. And I appreciate that things can be tailored or brought in to meet our individual needs to help us grow. And I think that is an amazing attribute to you as a teacher.
Well, like right now, I mean, beginners, I don't want to say it's cookie cutter, but you know what I mean? I teach, I don't veer very much from the beginners platform, because I truly believe in the process of it. But a beginner's class I have going through right now, I'm adding a lot of paranormal into it. And that's because over half of them are all paranormal investigators. So I have to tailor it to them.
Absolutely.
You know, so that they're more, they're more successful in what they're doing.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, I think, don't understand the wide variety of psychics and mediums, but where we each specialize or what we are each drawn to. There's not any one of us that is the same.
Not even close. I mean, just the first class that certified, oh my gosh, you went on one path. I can remember you were like medium. You do more psychic than anything.
I do.
You know what I mean?
I know.
You know, and that aspect, but you've got a huge business on this now, you know? I mean, we had somebody that came out, thought they're going to be a psychic medium, ended up being more of an animal communicator. We have the house clearer. We have very much tarot card people. You know, I will tell you what, in that first class, everybody is different, you know, and one decided to keep going on with their journey, thought she'd go paranormal, ended up shamanic.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just finding yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, finishing with me doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going to put up my plaque and say I'm going to do readings, psychic medium. No, this is just getting to know yourself. And then
absolutely,
the rest of the exploration is life and what you're going to do with it.
It is. I love that. Angry Dinosaur, I do see your comment. Angry Dinosaur has a question about reading auras. And so, yes, if you want to describe what you're picking up on my aura to help clarify your question, that would be fine. And then we can discuss that later.
There you go.
All right. So let's do one more question before we take a little break. But I had gotten an email from Erica A. And she says, hey, Charlie, it was great to watch you on your show last week and see you on DeEtte show on Monday. If I remember right, DeEtte will be on your show this week. So my question is for both of you. Is it possible for psychic abilities to rub off on people? Or maybe a better way to word it is, have you noticed as you become aware of your abilities, people you are close to seem to be more aware of theirs as well? I ask because it seems as of late, my fiance is starting to sense more spirits and jokingly blames me for him seeing dead people. Thank you.
I love, you know what? We have that in our own household. Yeah. And no rub off. No, I don't like the term rubbing off, because one, everybody's born psychic.
Yes.
Everybody is born psychic, which also means everybody is able, and I'm not going to go into major depth. Everybody is able to sense residual energy, which might be denounced as a spirit, but really it's just energy of a spirit that's been there before. Everybody's able to talk to their own dead relatives, you know, all of that aspect.
Yes.
But like in our house, it is so funny because, okay, I have abilities. My daughter has abilities. Both grandchildren. One is very much pronounced, my granddaughter. My grandson is starting to pronounce. And in the beginning, my daughter's husband would say, nope, not me, not me. And now he's like, you guys are just rubbing off on me. And it's like, no, you're more aware. You're more aware and you're more trusting. And you're like, because all of a sudden when you're living with somebody that is very, using their abilities, literally what's happening is you're watching them go, oh, I get this and it happens. I get this and it happens. So you start to pay attention to what you're getting and then it happening.
Right.
So I think
and I would agree with that. I also feel, to kind of add to that, is in some ways we are all kind of grouped up for a reason. And so, and I happen to know this individual that sent in the email, and I feel like she's within my group because it was somebody that I was going to need to eventually come in to support in their development of their abilities. And I feel that way, then with her fiance. And I think you're very accurate in saying once you're around somebody, you may have had experiences, but you brush them off, you excuse them away. But when you're around somebody who is open, then you're like, oh, and I feel like that opens up your perception of those things that's going on.
Right. I agree with you 110%. You know, I think that's how great awakenings happen.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, think about it, back in the day where they used to have like mobs that showed up and it'd be like, okay, everybody's fine with whatever the one person is preaching, but all of a sudden it takes one person in that crowd to throw a stone or to scream at them, they're of the devil or whatever. And then the whole crowd will stop to do that.
Yes.
Again, it's not rubbing off. It's doing whatever and just joining group. Yes. So when you have so many people really opening up to their abilities, what is happening is now everybody else is going, wait a second. You know what I mean? And they're more aware.
Absolutely. I love that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll answer more questions from our viewers. Maybe we can throw in a couple live readings if DeEtte's up to that today.
Yeah, why not?
All right. And remember, please continue to submit questions within the comments. Right now, that's the only way we can see them. And you can always send in before or after shows questions at chatwcharlie.com. All right, we'll see you in a few minutes, folks.
A certified spiritual life coach, animal communicator, past life regression, and a psychic medium. This is Charlie Lynn. Charlie Lynn and Chat with Charlie work with you to bring communication and understanding from spirit to those looking to gain insight. Charlie Lynn's spiritual journey has brought her to you, so take advantage and contact Charlie Lynn today. Book a reading, indulge in some Reiki work, or take the next step in your life with some spiritual life coaching. No matter, Charlie Lynn is here to help you. Search Chat with Charlie on Facebook. That's Chat with Charlie on Facebook.
Hi, everybody. It is 18 minutes after the hour, and you are back with Charlie Lynn and guest DeEtte Ranae here at WLTK-DB Talk Radio, and you're watching Chat with Charlie. So we're just kind of going through, if you're just tuning in, answering some questions from our viewers, talking a little bit to DeEtte about classes that she offers. What else, for people that are interested in, reaching out to you for readings or reaching out to you as a resource, where are some places they can find you, the best way to get a hold of you? I know you talked a little bit about your website, but I know you also do events.
I am all over. Like this weekend, I'm in Iowa. I'm actually in Des Moines, Iowa. So it's like I was in New York last weekend. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa this weekend.
Right.
So, and I'm doing what's called the IMF over there at the state fairgrounds. So it's a
Okay.
very, very large event. I think they're 31 or 33 years running now, and it's the largest
Wow.
one in Iowa. It's just an amazing event and so many amazing people. Um, you can find me at a lot of different events throughout, the state of Wisconsin. I don't do all of them. I used to jump into everybody's event. I don't do that anymore. You'll find me a lot at, Soul and Synergy events.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Oh, I love the Medipure Pro, which is the same company.
Yes.
Yours, the Gathering Place,
Yes.
which is coming up in June. Northwoods Wellness and Psychic Fair, which is another mind, body, spirit
Yeah.
fair. I'm at almost all of those because they're just such amazing people to go to.
They are.
But then there's a lot around the country. Like in October, I'm in Vulture City, which is in
Yes.
Arizona. And
That's so exciting. I'm
You
so
know-
excited to hear about you going to that one.
yeah, I'm like, if there is an event someplace, and you know what, Spirit literally told, it's funny because 2.5 years ago, before COVID started, I used to do a lot of events during season. And season is literally February until like mid-May, and then starts up again in September until like end of, November, that type of
Right.
period. And Spirit told me I was going to stop doing events. And I went, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because that was where I did most of my business.
Right.
And we finally, after arguing and fighting, me and my guides back and forth, I agreed to get rid of half of them. And they literally took out one company because that was half of them.
Right.
And that was 16 events. In a 3-month period of time, 16 events got pulled off my plate. And then, of course, COVID hit and events went all together. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is what you were talking about. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then this year they told me I was going back to events, and I was like, I don't want to do events again. But you know what? They're also putting me in places where I'm doing one-on-ones. Like I did a
Absolutely.
demonstration in my church last weekend. So it's events, whereas a lot of psychic, wellness events and or doing demonstrations all over the country. So
Well, and I think, events too are really pivotal in networking within the community, meeting other people, helping other people, being helped by other people. It's very much for the most part, I would say an ego-free community that really just is looking to help and benefit others.
oh yeah, which is huge,
Yes.
and to share that with people that come in is just it's undeniably amazing.
It is. And I appreciate it, as somebody who hasn't been in it for that long and just stepping in from like as an outsider, you're instantly welcomed into the community. And I love it. That's one thing I am very appreciative of. Good morning, Sharon, and good morning, Erica. And Angry Dinosaur, I do see that you had put in some stuff about what you're picking up on our auras, but I'm not exactly sure what your question is. So if you can phrase it.
Well, that was just it. So I actually looked up the colors that Angry Dinosaur had written.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure if that's what they were meaning or what's going on. So when they seen white for both of us, and I'm only going to hit some keywords that really made sense to me. So white is reflections, purity, in a sense, forgiveness, light, and spirituality. So white around both of us makes a lot of sense. With you, it also they were seeing blue, which reflects faithfulness, patience, devotion, knowledge, and mystery, which is really a lot of you.
It is. That's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
Good job, Angry Dinosaur. With myself, he's seen the white and then orange into red. So the orange really reflects ambition, pride, attention, energy, and vibrance. And then the red is adventure, passion, spontaneity.
Oh, yeah.
Basically. So I was like, you know what? It is pretty
spot on. That is pretty good.
So yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the question was, and then I liked how they actually added in there that, I'm like kind of straight to the point.
I'm a little more
You're
patient.
patient. I'm not patient, guy. I mean,
I know.
people will tell you I have the patience of Job because in certain circumstances, I can wait forever and not even
Yeah.
care. But other things, it's like, boom, there you go.
Well, what cracks me up about it is within this, like, I am not a patient person in reality. I mean, Spirit and I argue about that a lot. But in comparison to you and I would agree. I
Yeah.
think I'm a little more
Oh, yeah.
patient.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a patient. I'm like, let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
get it done.
Let's go.
I don't wanna wait. Let's go. Let's do
Right.
it.
So very good job, Angry Dinosaur.
I
I
would say
think
nailed it.
yeah, I think so too. Good morning. My mom's on. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning.
So let's jump into a couple more questions. I have one from Maria C. And she asks, what do you do to tap into your intuition? How do you listen?
I call Maria C.
Uh-huh. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, DeEtte's gonna know exactly who this is.
I call Maria C. That's what I do. What do I do to tap into my intuition? I breathe.
Yeah.
I take a moment and I breathe. I'm also like, you know what, when it comes to that whole straight to the point, I'm straight to the point with information coming into, give it to me now. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Right.
So I take a breath, I breathe, and I know it's right there. I can feel my body kind of with a few breaths. I can feel the energy shift and just kind of take off. So
Yeah, I really agree. As a beginner, I feel like the process was a little bit harder how to completely plug in, or what we call blend with, that soul to soul communication. But as I worked through classes, I learned more control. And, you used to talk a lot, especially in beginners, about it's like a light switch. And I'm like, how is this like a light switch? Like I'm always stuck on or I'm always stuck on off. But it is. I can tell now it's like a natural occurrence, really. I can feel when spirit's moving in, when I'm needing to shift to talk to them, or just changing that energy level when I'm getting ready for a reading.
right. And
Yeah.
that's just it. It's learning your own body.
Yeah,
It's learning your
absolutely.
own body.
And I tell a lot of people too, learning, and I hated that in class when we really focused on, you're thinking, where do you feel this in your body? And I'm like, how the heck do I know where I feel this in my body? Like they're just there. But you do. As you work through it, you learn where the information's coming in, where you feel it. And, so learning where you feel it, learning what the different voices sound like, I can now separate, am I worrying because of ego or just human worry, or is this spirit coming in being like, hey? So you learn to differentiate that also.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah,
Once you figure it out, you have all day long to argue with somebody. It's great.
Yes, I know. I know. I'm glad I'm not the only one that argues with spirit.
Well,
So.
you know what? It's your best friend. You don't agree with everything your friends say.
No, absolutely right.
It's just that, spirit on the other side's a little bit more pushy than the friend in front of you.
Right. Yes. Although, and we kind of joked about this with the panel on your show last week when you had popped in with questions, because you can,
And I wasn't trying to be mean. I was serious.
I know.
I
know you were, but we were like, oh shoot.
I know. I'm like, hey guys, y'all know what I just did this weekend. I'm serious. What the hell you guys got going on? What's going on with me? Because right now I don't know where life is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm so excited to watch you do everything.
Me too. I can't wait.
I know. It's going to be
someday
great.
I'll think I'm successful. I'm just not there yet. Right now, I'm enjoying the journey.
I think that's a great aspect to bring up, because I was watching Michael Christopher. He's doing a show now too, and I had popped in, was it yesterday, I think, and yeah
he does. He's been doing those forever.
I know. Well, I just caught it now, and I'm like, so I had popped on and kind of the same thing. I'm like, I just feel stuck. But I think it's because, and I can look at you and be like, oh, I see you as successful. And I know you look at me and you go, I don't see you as stuck. You're doing all these things. But we still, we're human, and we get stuck in our perception of where we should be, or what it looks like to us, instead of celebrating those little moments.
And that, the best I've heard about this so far was, well, who Michelle Apprentice is. I brought her on my show, my astrologer. And, she really depicted in my stars that April was going to be like, March was be patient, just wait. April was going to go, oh my God, what's going on? And in May, I'd start to slow down. And I'll tell you what, boom, boom, boom. It was like, but when May came to slow down, it was stop. And literally for 3 weeks, I've been like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I literally got a hold of her. I'm like, Michelle, she's like, hey, you can't have continued growth all the time because you'd burn out. Yeah. So you had grow, grow, grow. Now they have to slow you down to kind of recoup whatever to jump you back in. And I went, okay, I don't like this. But now that I'm done, with this last weekend, it makes sense because I did have this huge growth. Yes. And in between the two eclipses, all of a sudden I raged to literally almost to a halt. Like, oh my God, what's going on? I wasn't doing as many readings. I was just like, almost like, oh my God, is it over with? Because it's like,
Yeah.
Spirit, where are you? And it was like, no, you have to be patient because we're going to put you through another process that you need to be rested for, you need to be relaxed for, and then to see where you go after that.
Right.
So it's trusting that they're gonna, you know what, you're not stuck. You're biding the time, you're regenerating for the next growth.
Absolutely. And I think that attests to, what Spirit had brought in earlier about, we look at that perspective of, oh, I'm here, it's May, like you said, 3 weeks of like, I have
Mhm.
nothing going on. But
Yeah.
in their perspective, it's practicing the pause.
Yeah, which is really important because if
It
we're
is.
not taking care of ourselves, they're gonna pause us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I have found a lot of times it's easier if we choose to pause than letting them put us in that position where they're pausing us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tim
And
is asking if Southern California is the closest I'd get, or Arizona is the closest to Southern California so far. But I have a feeling, Tim, I'll be coming to California because I've gotten a lot more people are going, you need to come to California. You need to
yeah.
come to California. So who knows what it's going to be, my future is.
Oh, that would be exciting.
Would be-
Nice and sunny.
Oh, I know. I can't wait. I really
You
can't.
love that stuff. I'd melt. Like,
Oh,
I
bring
would,
out the 90, 95. Oh, give it.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. It hit 90 here, and I'm out there planting and having a good time.
Oh,
Everybody else is like, I'm dying. Even one of the kids is like, I'm going in the house. I'm like, no, come on out. It's
yeah,
gorgeous.
I'm good till about 80. After that, my ginger soul, it like sizzles and it's just not good.
You're good. You're good. Just come spend some time with me. You'll get used to it.
Maybe. I do feel like I am going to be traveling a little bit more. So I feel it coming, but
Right?
only one day this week under 100. Tim, you're crazy.
That's
Like, we
beautiful.
love you, but oh, I would die. See?
Now, see, people used to ask me, what's your favorite season? And I go, August.
I love it. I love it.
August.
Yeah.
I love those August nights that are just hot and muggy and sticky and gross.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. No.
Taking walks down the
Mm-mm.
middle, it's awesome.
Bad things happen when it gets that hot.
No. Because the polar opposite of that is the middle. Because my other favorite one is the middle of January when it's about 0 and then great big flakes come down.
Yeah.
You go for a walk in that. So I'm an
Yes.
extremist when it comes to things. So
Right. One extreme to the other. I would say December, if it snows when it's supposed to, outside of that, I'm like, over it. I'm kind of the middle of the road person.
right, I get
Yeah. Middle of the road. So if you could have any advice for past you, what would it be?
everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Trust it.
Yep. I think that's great. Because people ask me too, do you have any regrets? Is there anything you would go back and do differently? And when I reflect back, and yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I probably would have rather not deal with or go through, but it molded and moved me to here. And so I would agree with what you say, just appreciate your journey
Mhm.
and grow from it.
Right. Well, it's funny because it reminds me of this last week. I was with somebody who does astrology, and she looked at my chart and she goes, "Do you realize you have the yod in there, the eye of God in there?" I'm like,
Okay.
"No, what's that?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "It's yod." And I went, "Okay." And I had my hair up, and she looked at my neck. She goes, "You have yod on the back of your neck." I'm like, "Yeah, I know the symbol. I had it tattooed there.
Right.
I know what it means. For me, it means God within."
Yes.
And she said, "But what it also means, astrology wise, for your life is I chose an extremely hard life. I
Mhm.
I chose a life of a lot of struggle, a lot of hardship, a lot of things to learn. You know what I mean? Just a pack full in one life is what I
Yeah.
did. But it's to help my spirit level up. It's helping to release a lot of karma. It's helping my spirit to level up, to understand things. So, sometimes you just have to trust the journey.
You
Because
do.
when I look back, it's like I used to regret, like, God, I wouldn't have dated this guy so long, or I wouldn't have done that. But honestly, when I look back for my soul growth, no, I probably would have jumped in deeper. Like, let's do it.
Right. Right. And I think about like those times too, where you didn't jump in deeper and now having that growth and looking back on certain circumstances within my life, it's clear where spirit stepped in and was like, oh no, it's bad, but let's not make it worse. Does that make sense? Or
It does
stop.
for you. They push me. They go, oh, you're not in there? Pow, get in there.
I love it.
And then I'm going, how did I meet? But I look back and I'm like, how did I meet this person? Or how did I meet that person? You know what I mean? And and it's like, because you just trusted and you jumped in, no matter what, I jumped in,
Right.
So that's me though.
That is. And I think it's true. It's very much your personality. Let's see what happens.
It's just me. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
I am very much a person that goes, this is my philosophy in life. Life might suck really bad right now, but it's not going to kill me. If I look back on what I've gone through, oh, hell, this is nothing. And I know I'm going to be breathing tomorrow. So why the hell worry about it? Even though I give it 10 seconds of time, it's like I look back on the rest of my life and I'm like, oh, this ain't crap compared to what I've been through.
No, that's true. It gives a lot of perspective to there and now and going forward.
Yeah.
What was a pivotal turning point for you that made it more concrete or reinforce that this is the route you were supposed to follow? Was there any one thing that...
Any one thing? Not just one thing, no.
Yeah.
I have, I look back and I have some periods of time where just popping in my head, when you have those moments, those pivotal moments, where I would see things before they happened. Or, and I look back on that going, wow, I didn't trust it, but I always knew it was going to happen.
Right.
Or the first class I took, or the second class, or even this last weekend was, wow, you know what I mean? Just very significant. So I wouldn't say just one thing, I've been doing this too long now. When I look back over my life and go, I had a lot of pivotal moments where, and I know to trust that in the future, if I go, wait a second, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? They will pop something else in front of me going, yeah, it is. And that's what they do. So I have many, many different awarenesses that have said, this is your path. Even when I went, no, it's not, or I wasn't thinking, it wasn't even my sights, yeah.
That reinforced that for you.
Yeah, always. Every time I turn around, every couple of years, there's a major pivotal that just, it's so small at the time. Like I went to see a reader that I loved him, just dear friend, amazing reader. Angel read, I'm just spot on almost all the time. I would say 98% accuracy. Really, really good. And I came in, started to come and get readings, and he was like, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. They keep telling me, you know it all, you know. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He looked at me, he goes, they're letting me know that you need to learn to trust because you are better than I am. And I looked at him and said, I don't do this.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But when I look back on it, I'm like, damn, so it's, you don't realize it when it happens. It's later on.
I agree. It's like building blocks, and I feel like spirit is well aware that if they throw it all in our lap, that's going to cause mass panic, because it's, at least for me, going through the journey, there's been so many shifts in the way I look at things and the way my mind comprehends things, that to take that all in at once would just be overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now I'm to the point where life just happens. I'm like, oh, there's a reason. Oh, wow, I don't get angry. Oh, wow, it's not that I don't care, but I'm just accepting. I'm out of my ego. You know what I mean? So.
And it's funny because you remind me so much. My husband's like that, and I'll be like stressed out, and he's like, it's going to be fine. I'm like, no, and I'm like Chicken Little, like panicking and over preparing. And then like a couple days later, something happens and I'm like, oh, it's all better. He's like, what did I tell you? He goes, you talk to spirit. Why do you panic all the time? And I'm like, shut up. Like, I don't know.
That'll change, because I'll tell you what, the last time I went to Lilydale, I had, my life was crumbling. I was like, oh my God, holy shit, blah, blah, blah. And other people were looking at me like, it's fine. What is your drama? And to me, it was like, oh my God. And when I came back, guess what? It ended up being okay. Everything ended up being just fine. This time when I went to Lilydale, there was potentially a lot of the same stuff going on. And I was like, it'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I'm over it. And everybody was looking, people that see me the last time was like, where'd this come from? I'm like, experience and trust.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's just learning to trust.
Well, in the meantime, until I fully get there, I'm glad you're there to respond to my frantic text
Always.
messages and phone calls, or,
I take every one of them.
the random silliness. Those are more fun.
I take them. All of them. I love them. Are you kidding me?
I know.
You see
I
his
like our
kids put a
chats too.
sorting hat on and go, you are wise. I'm telling you. This cat's awesome. Where does you belong?
Slytherin will help you on the way to greatness.
Ooh, on
You're
the way.
Slytherin. In French, too, you're sibling.
I love it. I love it.
I love that hat. I'm sorry. I need to
So-
get an adult version because it doesn't fit the
Right. I know. I feel like underprepared with my all I got is my pen with the hair.
Oh, honey, I almost wore the hat. I got my cup. I got my hat. I almost wore my
See?
sweater. I
You
was
got the
going to just show
whole
up
flow
with a
going.
wand and look at you.
Is it wrong that I've only seen like 30 minutes of the first one?
Yes.
I know.
Oh, that is so wrong.
I know.
How do you understand me if you have not watched Harry Potter?
I understand like the cues.
See, even Jackie says, yes, it is.
Well,
Yes.
don't listen to her. Don't
You
listen
have
to
got
her.
one assignment before my next class. Watch all 6 shows.
Well, at the rate you've been going with getting that next class
get
typed
plenty of
out, I
time.
have a while to watch it. I'm waiting for that next class. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on.
Exactly.
Let's see. Jamie says a mentor isn't just one who leads you, it's someone who cares, a friend. And I would agree with that completely. I feel like we have really developed more than, that mentor student relationship.
Yeah. And I do too. And I feel that way with, grant you, I mean, some students become really, really good friends like you have,
Right.
But I always show up for all of them, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
just go, I'm here. And I will
Yeah.
tell you what, some will tell you, like the one in Florida. will say, she just come to me and go, why are you so mean? Why are you always picking on me? This and that. I said, A, I'm not.
Yeah.
And B, if I don't do this with you, you don't show up.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's learning everybody's personality, knowing I have to do this to get you to show up, or do this to, you know what I mean, to show up. But you really have to get into somebody's bubble. You have to get in there and know how they are as a person and what they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Knowing your students and knowing their motivation is huge in being a successful teacher and helping them to be successful.
Exactly.
So let's do one last question before I let you go and we go to a break.
Okay.
What is, or who, I guess, did you look up to as you started into your journey?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Seriously, nobody. And I don't mean that as I was really flying blind in a lot of aspects because
Right.
I'm not I wasn't like a starstruck person.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know everybody knew who like John Edward was, Sylvia Brown,
Right.
things of that nature, but I wasn't going to go buy a ticket to see them. I wasn't watching
Right.
other shows. And so I didn't have anything to really look at for that. You know what I mean? So I would say that really through my whole coming up through this, I would have to say my sister. And granted, by the time I started, she'd passed away.
Yes.
But from the other side, she was just like, when I look back at it, she knew me better than anybody. She already knew I had these abilities. She would tell me because she was very religious, it's not of God, blah, blah, blah. And then she'd go, can you talk to my mom who's dead?
Right.
Or the lady, haunting my house. Or I used to do a lot of remote viewing into her new places. I mean, just so much. So it wasn't a looking up to somebody else. It's literally standing there and when somebody's supporting me. And I would say that was my biggest thing. It's like, if you're supporting me, I looked up to you.
Absolutely.
Because you believed in me more than I believed in myself. And I do have a few of those. I have a dear friend of mine named John, who's just my heart. I love him to death. He's more of a grandpa type dad figure, but a really good friend. But his support of me is what I look up to.
Yeah. And I would agree too. For me, it wasn't, because I never saw myself doing this. So it wasn't like I looked up to someone, and aspired to be like John Edwards or, any of the big names. Although I know when I was younger, is when like Montel started bringing on Sylvia Brown. And it wasn't that I looked up to her, but I would sit there, like when he was talking to her, or even like Unsolved Mysteries. And because I would get flashes of information. And so it wasn't a looking up to them. It was a, okay, why am I able to get flashes of information? Sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's the same and a little bit more. So it wasn't so much looking up to them as it was helping me understand a little bit more about myself.
Right.
And then was it the early 90s? I think Lisa came out with that show where she would go into people's houses.
Yeah, it's in the 90s. Yeah. She
Yeah.
had like 2 shows. She's actually had 3 shows, 2 in the United States, 1 over in England.
And so I remember, having seen some of those too, where it was more not like, hey, I want to be her, but okay, other people do this. And, other people are getting information, which made me feel a little bit more normal, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell everybody a little bit about your show before I let you go to tune in and to watch you. And you have something
Which
else
one?
too. Both of them. Tell us
I
about
will
both
announce
of them.
it today. First, I do have a show every Monday morning, 9 a.m. on the same station, WLTK-DB.com. And I love it. It's called School Through Spirit. And I love, love, love the show because my show is a 2-hour show, but I do speak of something that Spirit brings through to me. So we spend a half an hour talking about that. I have some amazing guests that come on, and then I do a reading for the week. By the way, these guys this Monday, David Schrader is coming on. I am so excited that he's coming on. He is Holzer Files. He's been on many episodes of the Ghost Finders. He is a 60 paranormal guy. Some people call him Darkness Radio. All of it. He's just phenomenal. And I cannot, the fact that he said yes, I'm just so honored.
It's excited. I'm excited to watch that one.
I will tell you, I've had some really amazing people, like Dan Class was on last week.
Yes.
And Dan is Deathwalker. I mean, he's Hinsdale. I mean, just the incredible people that have come on and just, and shared their journey and helps everybody else feel a little bit normal. And that's what the show's about. It's not to say, hey, here's this guy, blah, blah, blah. It's, hey, he's got this journey. Does it make sense to you? I mean, so School Through Spirit is really about how spirit has affected your life in some way. And that lets you know that, guess what? You're not alone in this journey. Because we're all being there doing that. Now, the show that's coming in is Unfiltered with DeEtte Ranae. Did I say that right?
I don't have your new show title. I have it on my phone from us talking, but I don't know because I don't have it on my list yet.
Unfiltered. No, it's not, because we don't know exactly what. I can tell you, I think we've nailed it down. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure we nailed. But the show is Unfiltered, and it is with DeEtte Ranae, and I'm doing psychic readings, insight, and lots of fun. So it's basically, come with one question. For an hour, I'm going to just do nothing but readings. Nothing.
So it's kind of like the Ellen DeGeneres of psychic TV.
A new one, Jackie. A new one, yes. And we're looking at every Tuesday evening, not morning, evening. Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. We're looking at sometime in the beginning of June, starting it, guys.
Awesome.
It's really awesome. But how I've always said, I'm the unfiltered medium, unfiltered with me. Because everybody knows this mouth doesn't know how to shut up. It doesn't know how to filter things out. Unless I'm talking to a nun, I'm probably going to swear a little bit.
I struggle with that. I try to pretend like that Todd's a nun so that I don't say naughty words.
Oh, Todd is not a nun.
I know. But don't ruin that facade for me, because I don't want this to be the Sailor Chat with Charlie show.
You know what? Sailor Charlie's a good name for you. I'm going to start calling you Sailor Charlie.
There you go.
I don't even know. But yeah, so both of those shows, which are, what? And it was so funny because, when we're talking about arguing with your guides, my guides for months have been telling me, I actually have like little Post-it notes that say, do lives, do Facebook lives, do Facebook lives. You know what I mean? Do Facebook readings and lives. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I've literally, I think, done 2,
Yeah.
So literally a couple of weeks ago, they're like, you need to do another show. Well, actually, it was a while ago. And I went, no, I don't think so. And then you brought up, you need to do a reading show. You know what I mean? Or we should together. I'm like, we should. And then you went and started your own show. I'm like, okay, I got out of that one by the skin of my tushy. You know what I mean? I heard it again. And this time I talked out of turn and I said what they were saying while I was talking to Todd. He's like, we can do that. And I went, really, Spirit? This is their way of making me commit to showing up, going, let's do this.
I'm glad Spirit tricks you into things too.
Yeah. I seen it coming. But it's okay because it'll get me used to doing more. And, it gives a guaranteed time that everybody's going to say, I know DeEtte's on at this time.
Absolutely.
So,
and Tim says he can't wait for Unfiltered DeEtte. It sounds really fun.
I love it, Tim. You're going to love it.
I want to thank you so much for taking time and talking to us today, answering some of the viewers' questions. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you because you've been rocking it. Oh, my God. You need to do a conga line for yourself and be at the front of it.
I could. I do like to dance.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
You need to go around the house dancing a conga line going, I'm rocking it.
I don't know about that.
Hey, it'll get you unstuck.
On that Congo note.
Assignment now.
Oh, boy. We are going to let
go around twice a week with maracas or pan and spoon.
And Congo line.
Cleaning out your energy.
Don't listen to my mom. My mom says I do.
I love your mom.
I'm going to that'll be my next TikTok video.
That's right. All
right, everybody, we are going to say goodbye to DeEtte. We are going to take a short break. And then when we come back, I'm going to quick give you a card for the week and talk about what the show has coming up.
Have a great day.
Bye.
DeEtte Ranae, psychic medium. All of us have questions about our lives, our loved ones, our futures. DeEtte Ranae is here to help answer those difficult questions. DeEtte excels at working with spirit and is a certified psychic medium through LWISSD. She is a master teacher and well-versed in the spirit world. Look, don't trust just any psychic with your deepest thoughts and worries. Trust DeEtte Ranae, as she will deliver her very best for you. General readings, past loved ones, finances, your future. Contact DeEtte now on her website, DeEtteRanae.com. That's DeEtteRanae.com.
Welcome back to Chat with Charlie. We just got done talking with the amazing psychic medium, DeEtte Ranae. Please tune into her. She is on School Through Spirit on WLTK-DB. I'll give you show times a little bit later. She's fantastic. I really think you guys will love her. So for this week, we are going to do 4 cards. I already shuffled during the break. And again, I am using the Sacred Oracle, the Sacred Forest Oracle deck. So the first card that I was given is Magic. And when I look at this card, to me, if you chose number 1, it's talking about trusting the signs, trusting your intuition, trusting the energy that you're feeling around you. So I feel like, yes, it's coming in, and I don't know if you've been asking for signs or if you are looking at decisions and but yet you're not trusting that. Trust that magic, trust that intuition, trust the universe, God coming in and really trying to clarify things for you. Number 2, if you picked number 2, the card that we got is Freedom. And I feel like this is coming in on different levels. So it's, if you look at the card, you see the hawk spirit, but also down here, you see Pegasus. And to me, I look at this as freedom coming in and doors opening. So I feel like it's opportunities opening, being able to start looking at those opportunities and take advantage of them. But it's also speaking to just beginning, just starting to take off, that freedom is coming, that you're taking the steps to work to the point within your journey where you will reach that freedom. So if you picked a number 2 and you have, a lot of choices, a lot of things you're looking at, know that freedom is there, that things are there and opening up for you. and that you have laid the groundwork to start taking off, to take advantage and reach that freedom within the point of your journey that you're seeking to. Card number 3, if you picked card number 3, is healing. Okay. And I really feel like this is talking about healing within relationships, healing within ourselves, and self-care. I feel like if you picked number 3, this is really speaking to healing not only your physical health, but also healing the health of your soul, healing your emotional health. And that there are things that you may have kind of set aside that you really don't want to focus on, but it's time to focus on those. Spirit is coming in now to help you get answers, to help you move forward in your healing, and to give you strength. Card number 4. And the last card, if you picked, is prosperity. And prosperity is coming in and is talking about achieving. If you have been laying the groundwork, if you are struggling and waiting for things to come in, I feel like you're going to start seeing those things come in. What I see is the flowers starting to bloom, which is telling me that the prosperity is coming. It's been put in the works. The seeds have been planted, and now you're going to see those starting to come to fruition. Okay, so really quick, again, the cards, number 1 is magic. Number 2 is freedom. Number 3 is healing. And number 4 was prosperity. I have really, really enjoyed this week sitting down, talking with everybody, and having you guys tune in. It was fantastic to sit down with DeEtte. And I thank you. I thank you always for sending in your questions. Remember, you can email those to chatwcharlie@gmail.com. And I hope you enjoyed the show. I appreciate you coming back each week to share in some revelations and discussions. Also, if you are fascinated by all things that go bump in the night, paranormal, metaphysical, spiritual, you do definitely want to check in some of our other amazing shows on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. And don't worry if you can't catch them live, you can always come back and find them and watch them later. But tonight, Thursday, starting at 7, Ranae and Ashley will be hosting Realm of Darkness, followed by the Afterlight Chronicles with Nicole Strickland at 8. Friday, be sure to tune in for Missy Hart and the Good Shit Show at 9 a.m. Later Friday night, tune in to Ranae Rodriguez at 7 for her show, The Secrets Within. Oh my goodness, I lost track of where I'm at. Monday at 9 a.m., catch up with DeEtte Ranae on School Through Spirit, and later Christina Bloom on Be the Change at 8 p.m. Tuesday, Pete Orbea will be hosting Paranormal Pete, and actually we will be having Paranormal Pete and Christina Bloom on the show next month, so I'm really excited to sit down and talk to them. Finally, Wednesdays, you can find Kelly Brickle at 3 p.m. hosting the Psychic Hour, followed by Missy and Nicole with Over the Target at 8. Next week, before you guys all bail on me, next week on the show, we are going to have Maria Celeste on. She is going to be here to answer all questions about crystals, stones, how they work with our body, how nature comes in, things and elements, and how it works with our energy fields. So if you have questions about crystals, about rocks, about different minerals and how they work within your body, why you're attracted to certain ones, start sending those questions in. She is fantastic. She is an amazing source of information. So be sure to tune in to catch her. I will see you all next week right here for another episode of Chat with Charlie. Until then, many blessings and joy. Goodbye.